this is obviously no surprise who our tight end one is. I don't think I think everybody from here at Timbuktu knows who the tight end one is now with Taylor Swift. Now the whole world knows who our tight end one is. And the NFL's tight end one really. But the camp battle, the surprising part is number 2. Now this is a guy I thought, and obviously Chief fans have the guys they dislike. They also have guys that they want to crown as the heir apparent to Travis Kelce. So shortly after the draft, every Chiefs fan was like, "Oh, we found the next Kelce. It's this guy right here, Jared Wiley." And I'm gonna say JD and I were kind of hesitant to even say that he's the heir apparent to Travis Kelce because there's only one Travis Kelce. Because we thought, the number 2 tight end was Noah Gray. That's Noah Gray's job because I don't think he's done anything to take that job away from him. But right out the gate, we're already seeing Jared Wiley getting tight end 2 reps, which is kind of surprising to me because you got Noah Gray and you also brought in Irv Smith Jr., a guy who I thought was going to come in and actually compete for this number 2 tight end spot. But I haven't heard a word from Irv Smith. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen anything, reports about him, videos, nothing. I haven't seen anything of Irv Smith, so I'm very surprised about that as well. But it appears that the 4th round pick, Jared Wiley, is legit. And he's getting the tight end 2 reps, splitting time with Noah Gray, it appears. But I think for me, that's probably the biggest surprise so far in camp is Jared Wiley getting the number 2 reps right out the gate. And I want to ask you guys, are you all shocked by the developments of Jared Wiley getting the tight end 2 reps behind Travis Kelce so early on in training camp?
No, not at all. And I told you this. I don't believe we could say it's the number 2 snaps. My thing is, I think it's more so like formationally wise plays you're going to have him in, that he's going to be a matchup. I think it's more particular than that. I don't think it's necessarily just a number 2. I think it's really what they want to do offensively. Okay. And so when nagging those guys and sitting there saying, this is the matchup we want on this play, Jared, you need to get in for this play, this particular play. If it was a run play, I wouldn't say Jared would be the number 2 tight end. So I think it all depends on situationally what you're looking for. He's going to be a bigger guy, 6'6", going to be able to stretch the field. He's got great hands. He's got great athletic ability. I think it's more so like the offense. They're just playing. They want to see what's going on. So look, Noah Gray, we understand, man, is a solid tight end as you could possibly get. Okay, he's done everything he could possibly do to earn that spot, almost like a number 2. It's almost like we were talking about the corners being, well, who's the number 2 guy, right? When you have at least 3 tight ends, maybe 4, we haven't seen anything from Irv, like you said, that could come in and play and still make plays, right? Noah Gray runs good routes. Jared Wiley just brings a different element to the game that we hadn't seen since Jody Fortson. And so that's a good thing about it, right? You bring him in for the matchups. So when we get into talking about number 1, number 2, the only thing we can talk about right now, number 1, that's Travis Kelce, okay? Everybody else falls in place after that, man. That's the way it works. So I like to have 12 personnel, 13 personnel, even 14 personnel. We hear something from Irv, right? That's a problem. So I think they could definitely see, I think in the future, what you can do philosophically wise, offensively. So that's what I look at. I don't necessarily say I'm shocked at those things. Jared Wiley, we understood, was a baller when he came out of TCU. This ain't shocking at all.
No, I agree. I think Noah Gray last year could have had a better season than he did. There was a few things that kind of went into that, but I think the Chiefs flourish when Andy's being able to go to the 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and just chalk it up. And as soon as we drafted Wiley, I looked at Steve, and Steve didn't like the pick. He didn't love the pick. He didn't really understand the pick, I don't think. We were kind of under the impression that they were looking at tight ends, right? Because if you go back to the draft and you remember, we had met with Ben Sinnott. We had met with Jatavion Sanders. We had talked to Theo Johnson. We had talked to Eric All. Yeah. We had talked to everybody down the board, it seemed. And then the one guy they hadn't, lo and behold, Jared Wiley. And there he came. And I think that was just them holding that close to the vest. But I had him rated as one of my top 6, 7 tight ends. He would have probably been higher on my board if he had more than one productive season, but he just really didn't get a shot until that last year there in TCU. But he's got everything. He's got the side speed combo. He can jump to the moon. He's got pretty good build-up speed. I like Jared Wiley, and as soon as he was drafted, I said that is what they wanted Jody Fortson to be. And I don't want to say his cap's Jody Fortson. I think he could be more than Jody Fortson. Now, could he have a great career? It's very possible. I'm not going to tell anybody they got to come in and be the stigma of one of the best tight ends to ever play, Travis Kelce. I think that right there, when people were saying baby Kelce to me, I was like, you're putting some crazy responsibility on this dude's shoulders. He hasn't played a snap. And again, he still hasn't put his pads on. And if you want to talk about a knock on Jared Wiley, he can't block worth a flip on the run game half the time. He was getting his lunch eat up a little bit. I think PFF had rated him like a 48. Now, I will say PFF, it is hard to get a high run score from PFF out of their own mouths. It's pretty hard. I think Cade Stover will almost beat one of their asses one time when they said he couldn't block. But, I think he offers something, like you said, that it's a matchup nightmare because he can run, he's got the speed, he's got the twitch, he can jump. We've seen it today. One-hand catch. They've hit him up the sideline twice now on one of those little, almost like a wheel route or something it looks like. It's hard to see because we got these odd angles coming out of the cell phones, but there's these wild routes where they're getting him out on the corner. He's going up the seam one-on-one. He's getting a matchup, and he's going and getting it. And Mahomes is not afraid to throw it to him. Why would you be? Just turn around and close your eyes and flip it, and I think he's got a good shot to grab it. I think Jared Wiley is going to be good. Will he come in and immediately take over Noah Gray's snaps? I don't think so. I think this is a product of camp and just wanting to see what they have. So I don't think there's any indication right now. You know, everybody's saying, well, Wanye's taking left tackle snaps and Kingsley's not. And I think at this point, they're just wanting to see everybody. Everybody, a little bit of everywhere. See what they got. They'll put the pads on. Wiley's going to be fine, but I think Noah Gray's still going to have a good season. Now, will this impact Noah Gray's contract he's got coming up after this year? That is a possibility if Wiley balls out and they're like, hey, this might be tight end 2, tight end 1 of the future here. So I think that could be an effect on him, but I think Noah Gray will be fine this year. And I like our tight end room, and I honestly think Irv, if they take 4, I'm fine with it. But I felt like Irv was a signing that was a safety signing in case they couldn't get their tight end in the draft. That's what I felt. And now that they've got him, because I think that's who they wanted, Irv could be a camp casualty if they was to cut him and maybe take the fullback. Crocky J, one of those guys. I don't know. Maybe they don't take the 4 tight ends. But maybe they do take the 4 tight ends. Who knows? With this new kickoff rule, I think that's causing a lot of weirdness with, you know, how many linebackers they take, how many corners, how many tight ends, this and that. I think you got to play a little bit of special teams now. I don't know if Irv does that. I have no idea.
Well, you had to say the same thing about Jared Wiley, too. He's going to have to play some special teams. And so that means going down, making some tackles, covering, all those different things, getting off blocks. All those things are important, okay? You just can't become a number 2 tight end and not have anything to do out there, especially on special teams-wise, especially when you're trying to make the roster, which we know he's going to make the roster. But look, everything you said, Mike, I agree with. He's going to be, maybe in the run game, not the strongest to do. So can you line him up in the backfield and go let him smack a linebacker? I don't think that's going to be a forte. They didn't get him here to do that. More importantly, I know you said like Jody Forson, what we was thinking he was going to be. Can you imagine if Jody just stayed healthy? The things he would do. So I think Jody is without a doubt a more polished route runner, receiver than Jared Wiley. But you know he's away. Jared Wiley is a tight end, and he's going to get better. He's going to learn a lot from Travis Kelce. A lot of it, like you said, is about rapport. Okay, so I lined up to how everything works during the offseason. So coaches get in and they start putting packages together, okay, for different guys. And I think the same thing you said about Irv, what they were thinking about doing with him. So they finally, start looking at guys that want to get into the draft. Jared Wiley is one of those guys. They start putting packages together, okay, different plays. And they start saying, look, this guy right here has a large frame. He got, really long. There's some things he can do. We talked about what he can do in the red zone. He's going to be that matchup nightmare. Why not utilize it right now? And so what you start doing is you start making a little bit of adjustments during training camp, okay? Because you got most of your stuff in already. I'm just telling you offensively, they're throwing so much information at guys because this is what the offense is going to be. But when you're sitting there talking about Nagy and then you're talking about with Andy, what they're doing, they are putting together a system that's going to exploit a guy's skill set. Jared Wiley is no exception to that rule, what they have. And I think right now, like you said, Mike, they're just going to try it all out. And they're telling Patrick, hey, throw it to Jared on this. I guarantee they bring in a meeting. They say, look for Jared on this particular play.
Yep.
What is going to be the teller? When you strap these things up, baby, just look, hey, It's a different thing from TCU, and I always say this all the time. Hey, you ain't messing with a guy, okay, that's taking a data analysis as your major, okay. This is a guy out here who's ready to tear your head off, okay. Can you swing and swim in the NFL? That's a whole different type of animal that we got to find out about Jared Wiley. And so it's good to find out what he's doing right now without the pads on. When the pads come on, we'll start talking a little bit more about what it is that he can actually do. But we know he has ability. That's the reason we brought him in. He's a fourth round pick for a reason. So I think we got a lot here with Jared Wiley. Like you said, Mike, it was unfair to try to sit there and say, well, he's going to be the heir apparent to Travis Kelce. What? Wait a minute. How about him just being Jared Wiley first? Okay. How about him just getting the shoes on, laced up, and going out there and just running routes and catching passes to begin with before we start putting out that type of pressure on this guy? So I think we just, we'll wait and see. But I love right now that we do have this matchup against safeties, linebackers that he can win with. So we'll just have to see, man. But I do know that those guys have put a package together with Jared Wiley in mind, and they're going to make sure they utilize it during camp. So,
yep,
so what do you? So Irv Smith, like I mentioned, there's really hasn't been much on him at all.
Yeah.
And obviously, and I do see what Mike's point is. It was kind of a safety signing. If they didn't get the tight end they wanted in the draft, they could always lean back to Irv Smith, who, I mean, when he came out of college, he was an athletic freak. I mean, he was an athletic specimen. The injuries kind of hindered his career a little bit, and I was hopeful for him. But you think now with Wiley coming in and looking the part so far, at least, if that does make Irv a little bit expendable when it comes to a cap casualty?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I told you, it ain't no guarantees, man. Just no guarantees, especially in camp. You bring bodies in for a reason, right? Because there is injuries, things do happen. And so when you're sitting there thinking like, okay, who's going to be on the last bit of the roster, they'll keep a guy around to say, is he going to make it or is he not going to make it? And so this is where special teams is vitally important, okay? What a guy can do and what he can play. If Irv gives a little bit to, let's just say, being in the backfield, okay? Let's take out Carson Steele. Maybe they haven't found a guy that can do the blocking from the inside that they want, right? That Noah Gray has been doing from the inside of the line. Those things guys still got to figure out. These guys go to battle those things for them to make a decision. You just got to force the guys, the coach's hand to say, do we get rid of a guy or do we keep him? So it still remains to be seen, man. I don't like it because we haven't seen anything from Irv at all. I asked you earlier, I said, has anybody got any film, any catches, anything on him?
Dude, I haven't even seen him standing on the sideline.
Yeah, is he still here? Did he quit?
Yeah.
He's playing Madden too.
He's playing the new college football game.
Yeah. Well, the reason I think that they brought him in as a safety signing, because people didn't like that I said that. I've said that before, and people didn't like that. They were like, well, why do you come to that conclusion? The only reason I did come to that conclusion was I think the Chiefs done their due diligence on tight ends, and I think they had their top 4 to 5 that they were really comfortable with taking early, right? And we learned that Jaden Hicks was a best player available situation. And they could have taken Jaden Hicks before they took Wiley, but they took Wiley. So I still think that, and by the way, Hicks was rated higher on my board than Wiley. So to take him above him and still come back to Hicks, I believe they targeted him for a specific reason. And they got rid of Belldozer in the offseason, and Belldozer was not a pass-catching guy. He's a run blocker. He's the 12, 13 personnel guy that's going to get out there and run it on goal line situations. Irv Smith's not that. Irv Smith has always been a pass-catching threat all the way back to Alabama, but never a run block guy. So I don't think it was a one-for-one Blake Bell transfer there. I think they were trying to get a pass-catching guy, and now that they got it, and by the way, Jared Wiley's a lot bigger. I think he's 260 compared to Irv Smith's 240, and he's like 6'7" to 6'2", somewhere in that range. So Irv Smith almost feels like more of an H-back kind of guy, kind of like a Noah Gray in a way. But I think at the end of the day, he's the outside looking in, poor Irv is. I think they're just going to take maybe 3 this year. Now, they could surprise me and go 4, but I think Andy's leaning back to maybe getting to that extra fullback. I really do. I think Carson Steele's got a decent shot to make the team, in my opinion.
I do too, just because of that reason, right? And that, like I said, sometimes those positions may become redundant. So do you keep a guy like Carson Steele in there and get rid of Irv Smith? And the thing is, if you're trying to at least give Travis Kelce a break, okay, in the passing game, right? Give him a breather. Or you bring in Jared Wiley, okay? and Noah Gray. So they can run the 2 tight end sets from that point because you just don't want to wear him out. There's no need to. So find out what Jared Wiley can do right now. And if he can do it well, if he's learned a whole lot from Travis Kelce, be a sponge, okay? Give something. If you have a modicum of what Travis Kelce has, okay, we'll be able to win with that, all right? We'll be able to win with that. And so he's shown that he can go up there and he can go get it. He can catch the football. Now when the pass come on, we can get a better, at least measure about who it is that we actually drafted. So
Fridays when the shells come on, so that's when the real football begins. No more of this patty cake stuff.
Hey, we also know if they get in a pinch, like you have some injuries and they get rid of Irv, you say, and he goes somewhere else. They picked up Isaiah Gathings. They seem to like him a little bit. Like he could always come in and be that serviceable 4 guy. I mean, if they got to, give JD a call. He'll come back. I'll co-sign for you.
Hey, listen, I always say it, man. I still got these meat hooks in me. I don't have to move a whole lot, man. But one thing I can do, I can hold you to death.
There you go. Hold and fall and just get in the pile, baby.
That's it.
Can't call it if they can't see it.
With the way these guys block nowadays, JD, you'd still probably the best run blocking, pass blocking tight end now. If you went back now.
You go Pro Bowl
easily.
So, man, look, we got to talk about it. If we look at a short yardage and guys come in and stick their nose in, hit guys in the mouth, shoot, is he a liability in the run game? Ain't it? Because you were getting your butt handed to you, getting tossed around. You can't be in there. You can't. I can't see a defensive end in the backfield hit Pacheco trying to get a yard or half a yard or CEH or whoever it might be. You can't be that guy. So I know he has a will and a want to. I know he has a passion. He has that little bit of like that nastiness to him, which I like. So I cannot wait till Friday comes on. These pads are going to be popping, man. I cannot wait to see it. So,
totally different game when those pads come on, baby. It's
Oh,
not
my
even
God.
close. If you haven't played it, you don't understand it, but it's different.
look, I said, man, you should be able to catch pretty passes. If you in shells, you better catch a pass with
You
one
better
hand.
catch it.
Yeah, come on now. Shoot.
Ain't got to worry about nobody hitting you. What are you doing? Look the ball in. Let's go.
Yeah. Well,
Was it
we thought that until what's the name got hit today.
Karlaftis laid out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Hey, that was funny. Did you happen to see the Nick Bolton one though, where he just decked Rashee Rice over in the corner? I'll send you guys the. I'll send it to Marcus. Yeah, there's one that I found, and they're running a route, and Rashee Rice comes off of him, and Nick Bolton just lays him out, just sends him flying out of the camera frame,
gosh.
dude. They were chippy today.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse on Friday.
Yeah. I bet nobody came to challenge Nick Bolton though, did they?
Oh hell no. I wouldn't. I'd be like, Nick, here's my lunch money. You need anything else? You need back rub? I got you.
Everybody sitting on the side like, come on, Nick. You know you shouldn't be doing that.
No, hit stick Nick. You don't mess with hit stick Nick, baby.
Right. Galapagos, they run up on like, hey man, what are you doing? You know,
Right.
Run up on Nick and see what happens. Yeah.
Bold like Debo and Friday. You want some of this too, old man? No.
Yeah.
Karlaftis is a big boy. I don't think I'd run up on him either.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
He's kind of like that Midwestern country boy strong, right? He ain't got the muscles, but he eats a lot of cornbread, I could think. Maybe.
Well, you could tell he just kind of brushed it off like, yeah, I don't care about it.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead, go away.
The funny part was Kadarius Toney chucking the ball at his head.
Yeah. Now,
But they both handled it and just went on. I mean, it could have been worse, but.
Yeah, I think Nick Bolton would look somebody in the eye and said, the next time you come over this middle,
Yeah.
you better have your mouthpiece in.
Hey, they're tired of pass camp. They've been doing this crap for 6 weeks. It's time to hit somebody. Grow up. Let's play football.
Yeah, hopefully this day off will give them a little cool down before the real fight begins on Friday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.